Okay, welcome back everyone to my channel. Thank you for coming back to get more information. You've got a lot of places you could go to. You chose to come here. I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. That way when I put out a new video, you'll be notified and then you can come back and watch my video. The video today is the top 10 events or activities you can do for your campus that will change the culture. Now remember, as the principal, you're the only one who can create the culture. You can bring people in to tell you what to do with instruction. You can buy things for the campus to help instruction. You can even hire people to come in and tell you what to buy for the instruction. But there's no one that has the ability, the influence like you do to create the culture of the campus. You're the one who has the authority. And so I've got 10 activities, events that if you did them on your campus, if they're appropriate for your campus, you could change the culture. And so let's just get into it. I live in San Antonio. We celebrate Fiesta in the spring. And so at my first school, we started a Fiesta. And really it's just a carnival after school, but we called it Fiesta. We created shirts for all the teachers. The intention of the Fiesta was just to build community. Impact this was an event that everyone looked forward to every year. Everyone wanted to know what the faculty Fiesta shirt was gonna look like. Was it gonna be lime this year or a lemon color, or what was it gonna be? And then all of the events that we had in place. And I always felt that when you have something like this, you shouldn't charge the heck out of your community. So about half of the events were paid for and half the events were just free. And this is where you get your community involved and your business partners, and they all come in, and you have the moon bounces and you have the food booths and all of that. It changes the culture of your school. And if you can do a fall festival and a spring festival or a carnival or a fiesta, that brings together your community more often so that there can be conversation, there can be a sense of community, there can be a sense of pride. So Fiesta, carnival, call it what you will, it's a big deal. It has shockwaves all the way out into the community. The next, I called it the Wasm Book Project. And what I did is, you know those kids who never get recognized, especially gifted and talented kids? Well, I wanted to recognize them. We were spending a lot of time and effort on the kids who were not rocking it. And so I wanted to recognize the kids who were rocking it. So I secretly had my librarian talk to all those kids and see what their favorite book series was. Harry Potter, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, you name it, I wanted to know about it. What I did was I used my instructional funds to buy the entire series for that student. And we probably picked 50 or so students, K through 5, English, Spanish, because I was a bilingual campus. And what I did is I called them in and I talked to them about how I had heard about their love of reading and the series that they loved. And then I reached down and I pulled up and I gave them the entire series. And I have this all on video, but I can't show it because of confidentiality. But the look on their faces was just amazing. And I had a letter written to their parents saying, okay, this student gets the entire series. When they're done, whenever that is, bring this back to the classroom library and let's just put it into the classroom library so that the instructional funds I used was being used for instructional purposes. My intent was to recognize those kids who don't get recognized. The impact I made by doing that was just priceless on the students' faces. And then when they came back and basically reported out about this series of books to their whole classroom, put it in the library, and then the whole classroom went crazy to read those books because someone they admired who read a lot recommended they read that book or that series. The next event I think you need to consider is called the Buddy Blizzard. And the intent behind the Buddy Blizzard was to create a carnival-like atmosphere for my special needs students who never came to our big carnivals or fiestas because it's too much stimulation. So I wanted to create a carnival just for them, which means it needed to be low key, which means it needed to have some safeguards. The impact this event made was priceless because I got the community involved, then I got my staff involved, then I've got my students involved, and then I have my special needs students. What we did at this event is we thought out all of the skills, the events that my special needs students knew how to do through Special Olympics. So they're the basketball and bowling and track events. And then we figured out each student and what they really, really liked. So if John really liked Tarzan, then we created John's Tarzan Bowling. So it had his name, it's all decorated. We knew he loved to bowl. And we did that for each student. We also had my 5th grade buddies, I'll talk about in a minute, and the pals from the middle school and the high school. They came in, so every student had 2 students supervising them or being with them. So the families could just kick back and watch their child really have a blast. We made sure all of the related services, so occupational therapy, physical therapy, assistive technology, and on and on and on. All of those staff members were there. And so it was just a carnival for special needs students. It was amazing. Please consider it. Well, let me talk about the 5th grade buddies. The intent behind this was for me to build leadership in my 5th graders and to build independence and language in my special needs students. So what I did is I matched those up. The students in 5th grade had to write me a letter explaining why they should be considered to be a 5th grade buddy. I read through those, and you would be completely surprised how many students have family members who are disabled, and those 5th graders have over the years taken care of those family members in some capacity and are very proud that they have done that. Very empathetic students, very considerate. And so when they write, you get to read about those things. And so what we would do is every 2 weeks I had lunch with my 5th grade buddies after I selected them. We matched them up with special needs students. So field trips, assemblies, lunch was huge for our 5th grade buddies to sit right next to our special needs students. And what that did is it gave my special needs students independence. So they're not dependent on an adult all the time. Now, we had adults at all times supervising, don't get me wrong. But when you have a 5th grade student sitting right next to a special needs student and reminding them to use a napkin at lunch or to use a spoon or whatever, you're building independence constantly. It was just beautiful to watch while you're in there supervising in the cafeteria and you're seeing the adults back up a couple of steps and supervise and not have to be right there on top of your special needs students. It's amazing. Or when you have an assembly and your 5th grade buddies create like a honeycomb around all of your special needs students, and the special needs students are mirroring the way the buddies are holding their hands or sitting quietly or whatever. It's amazing. Okay, the next one is the daddy-daughter dinner. The intent was to create a time for dads and daughters to be together. So we did this on Valentine's Day. I got with the local restaurant. Manager explained what I wanted to do. They were always gracious and excited to have it. And so we advertised leading up to this. When the daddy and the daughter came in, they were seated. They had time together. When they left, we had some chocolate and a rose for the daughter. And it was just, we were just providing that time. The restaurant usually gave a percentage back to the school, but all we did was set up time. And at my second school, what I saw were dads who had multiple daughters didn't bring them all at once. They would bring one daughter and have that time with them. Take them home, grab the other daughter. They're all dressed up. The dad's dressed up. It was just building that time for them. And the impact, I just don't know. I know it was awesome to see. I know the moms asked for that every single year. You can have daddy-daughter dinner again? Then eventually they wanted the mom-son dinner, which we did. But when you have parents asking you, are you going to do that again this year? That tells you you're building a culture that they like. Okay, next, the guys club. At my first school, I had several single moms who were raising boys and were having a difficult time. And so I created a thing called the Guys Club. And the intent was to help out single moms raising boys. And the impact, again, I don't know. I know at the time, the moms were very grateful. The boys' behaviors changed. Sort of like we had this secret bond. But what I did with the boys were just say, hey, we need to go work around the school today. I need some help doing this, teaching them service. Or, hey, you see how I dress? Would you like to dress like me? And of course, they all want to dress like the principal. So we got clothes for them and that kind of thing. At my second school, I enlisted some of the other men on campus to help me with this project. And after I left, they have continued this. And it's made the news. And not because it's my ideas, because the awesome things those men are doing with those young men. That's the news. Next, museum night. The intention on this was to honor the arts and our students. And we started really small. We were going to put student artwork in the library. But then we started thinking a little bit more. What if we had some middle school students who were here bring some artwork? Then that would bring us more of an audience. And then we thought about it some more and was like, well, what about high school? Then we thought about it some more and like, well, let's not just talk about art. Let's talk about choir, or let's talk about piano playing or instruments or orchestra. And so it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And we realized we didn't have the capacity to handle that at the school. So around the corner from school was a strip mall. And at the corner of that strip mall was an empty furniture store. So it had multiple rooms. So we called that manager, asked to have that space for the night. He happened to be a parent of the school. He said, you can have it anytime you want to. So what we did is we had our elementary, our middle school, and our high school all of the arts in this one, we called it the night at the museum. And so we had art displayed, we had choir singing, we had a piano playing, it just went on and on and on. So that initial intention just built and built and built, as you'll see with many of these projects. The impact to the community was you just can't measure it. When before everyone leaves, they make it an effort to come and tell you about it. Okay, now you're onto something. And when, again, you get emails thanking you, you know you've hit on something that the community likes. So you want to keep thinking in that direction. You're getting closer and closer to the values of the community you represent. My tip on that is get a good coordinator. Even if you don't go off campus, just coordinating everything on campus, that's a big job. When you go off campus, you're taking it to another level. You're going to probably need to call me on that one, and I can walk you through it. This is not an event. This was my next project. I called it the Wasm Words. And what we did as a staff is we thought about 10 words we felt students needed in their life for the future. The intent behind this was to lift up words to our students who we thought they could use for life. Big words: integrity, love, perseverance, respect, and so forth. And so what I wanted to do was put these words everywhere I could. And I thought the best place to put them would be on the teacher. So then we created shirts. So if you're going to do this, you're going to need shirt sizes. You're going to have to pick the color of the shirts, the font, all of that. You're going to have to get with your staff on what words they think the students should know. But here's the big thing. I told the teachers, anytime you want to wear jeans, wear your Wasm Words shirt. No problem. Here's what's going to happen when you wear your Wasm Words shirt, is that anytime a student asks you, so why did you pick that word for me? You have to stop and you have to explain it to them. And explaining the word integrity to a fifth grader is much different than explaining the word integrity to a kindergartner. And so you're going to have to really think about that. But the impact that we made was more on the staff than the students, I believe. My staff became thinkers. My staff got an understanding that our jobs are much deeper than just instructing. This affected my cafeteria managers, her staff, my custodial staff. I had bus drivers asking for word shirts. It was one of the coolest things I think we ever thought of. All right, next event. Water balloons. Yes, water balloons thrown at the principal. Yes. Let me explain the intent when I created this. We were heading into May. My budget was running low and I needed to generate some money. So we had this idea of Dollar Fridays. So every Friday in May, if a student brought $1, they could participate, because I had a community that didn't have a lot of money, but they did have $1. And so one Friday was wear a cap. So if you wanted to wear a cap, bring $1, you wear a cap. Or crazy hair day, or whatever, you can think of it. Well, one Friday was $1 per balloon to throw at the principal. Now, we gave a balloon to every student anyway. I explained to the parents my intention was to raise money for my teachers so that I could take care of them over the summer, buy them shirts, feed them certain time next year, Thanksgiving or whatever. So they knew what I was doing. Each Friday, the ones who wanted to participate brought in dollars. So on Water Balloon Friday, they brought in about $2,000 in one Friday, which is awesome. Now you have to absorb $2,000 worth of balloons. So I highly recommend you get somebody else in there with you. Like my head custodian joined me each time we did this, and the kids loved it. It was a blast. It built a bond with them and him, and they got to throw water balloons. So the tip I would give you on this one is get a partner and then get your PTA involved, because somebody has to fill up all those balloons. My next idea, it's not a project, it's not an event, it was making videos for my staff. I always watch videos on YouTube. I'm a visual learner. That's the way I roll. So every faculty meeting, I always had a video. I wanted to evoke emotion. And what I realized is when we put our kids on camera, it made more of an impact to the teachers. So I made a video of the night at the museum and how happy everyone was. And I made a video of the faces of all those students who received books. We made a video of, did you know your teacher thought you were awesome? And when we said that, we captured their face, the student's face. So making videos of your students builds the culture of your staff, because they're starting to see the impact they're having on the students. And seeing a child's face light up when they're complimented or giving something special, or your family's having a great time, or everybody's just going crazy throwing water balloons, it helps you build the culture that's positive, that's influential, that's motivating, that's proactive. And if you think that's the kind of school you want or need, you've got 10 new ideas. So if you have any questions, or you need any details about any of this, please find me. I would love to share more information than just this video. Thanks.